What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Reviewed number 103. And today I'm going to be reviewing the movie Shrek the Third, the sequel to Shrek 2, and the third installment in the Shrek franchise. So what can I say about Shrek the Third? Well, I enjoyed it. Actually, it was pretty darn funny. It was... Well, I always expected to have the YMCA song in there, but it wasn't in there. I don't know why. Maybe it's the deleted scene from the first one or something, but it wasn't in there. I was looking for it. But yeah, overall, I like the plot. It was a very interesting idea. It takes place shortly after the end of the second one, where everything's back to normal, and they're, Shrek and Fiona living, happily. And then you have, I think, the dad, King, who's like a frog now. He's like dying, and so he wants Shrek to be the heir now, but he doesn't want to do it, so he sets off on a journey to basically to get a new heir, which is Arthur. And then also there's Merlin too, which actually is wild because he's voiced by Eric Idle. That's crazy. And also the Arthur, or Artie, is voiced by Justin Timberlake, which I didn't realize until I watched the credits. But it's a really cool concept because it's supposed to be like a fairy tale character, but also they do like a lot of like mythology and stuff like that. It's like Arthurian tales, stuff like that. I guess it's Merlin and there's Arthur, but also one of the really interesting things about the plot of the movie was the fact that it had to do with, well, not just the fact that Prince Charming is like wanting to take over, far away with being a king, but he also wants to get his happy ending because he doesn't like the fact that it's like Shrek gets his happy ending. So he even though Fiona doesn't want anybody but Shrek, the point is that he wants to take over because none of them fairy tale characters got their happy ending, so they're basically going on a big quest like that. So it's really quite interesting. So I thought it was also the fact the other thing where it was, I think it was this high school thing. I don't know. It was really weird, but there was this high school that Shrek and Donkey and even Puss go to, and it's. I mean, obviously Shrek, the whole franchise itself is like a one big parody, but it's mixes like modern day culture, like high school. Oh, in this case, it's like a fantasy high school, but it's like a fantasy, fairy tale combined with high school. It's the weirdest thing ever. They have a whole basketball court, everything. It's just wild, but I enjoyed it. It was actually really funny. I mean, I think the second one was good too, but I in terms of the comedy, I felt like this one was more richer in the comedy because it had a lot more. Well, not really like references. I mean, there were references in terms of the characters. There was Captain Hook, the Ents, or no, not the Ents, the trees from Wizard of Oz. I think, I don't know. There's Snow White. There's Sleeping Beauty, a brown-haired Sleeping Beauty. Because I think the version, because I think when I was reviewing Shrek 2, I pointed out the fact that all these characters aren't really particularly based off the Disney characters. They're all based off of different versions of the original fairy tales. They're fairy tales. So Sleeping Beauty wasn't always blonde. Like there was a version of her that was actually brown, which is weird because you always think that Sleeping Beauty would have blonde hair, but no, in this case she had brown hair, which is not a bad thing. I mean, like a lot of fairy tales have that where they have a different hair color or different skin color for that matter, and that's just because those fairy tale characters have been around for decades. So it's that crazy. I think maybe even centuries if you think about it. But it's really quite interesting. And you have the one thing I was confused about why it was, well, it's not really a big part of the movie, but why they referred to Sleeping Beauty as Beauty, or basically Sleeping Beauty. It was also brought up in the second movie, but her name is Aurora, right? Why do they need to call her Sleeping Beauty? I don't really understand that, but I thought it was really quite funny, and it had a lot of goofy moments in it. One thing I kind of I forgot to mention, and I actually saw the Everything Wrong with Shrek 2 video for this, and it was kind of something I kind of forgot to mention, and might as well bring this up because I was actually it was used a lot in this movie, and that was talking animals, how humans can react to talking. I mean, I can get ogres, but human characters from the fairy tales that are in this movie, they somehow interact with the animals that talk. You have Puss in Boots and Donkey, But like, and also, you know, of course, you know, the three little German pigs in this case, it's weird. And then, you know, of course, the three blind mice, and pretty much it. But it was really weird how they I didn't really notice that, but like they used that with the whole idea of having, you know, talking animals. I mean, they're part of the Shrek gang, but like the fact that talking animals are part of that, and humans interact with them just fine. It's not a question like, oh, there's a talking animal. It's just that always been a thing. But also, one of the big plot points, aside from, you know, saving Far Far Away Land from King Arthur, and, you know, getting a new heir to the throne of Far Far Away Land because the dad died, was Shrek's, you know, you guys know this fear, this ongoing fear throughout the movie that was being a dad, essentially, because, you know, when he was on the way to get the heir, you know, by Bybie and Merlin or whatever. Apparently, Fiona announces that she's pregnant, and he is like a dream, and it's kind of terrifying in a way, because he sees like thousands of babies, and it's like he's worried about that. But like the idea, of course, you know, of ogres, you know, having children is just crazy. But in general, it's quite interesting in terms of, because actually I think it was in the trailer too, where, because I remember seeing the trailer, it was wild. Like that idea of having that is just, it's crazy. And I thought it was interesting that Shrek has this responsibility. I mean, the responsibility of being a king was playing king in the beginning of the movie, but like that was the weirder thing. That was why it was marketed as Shrek Third, because it is the third installment. They could have just called it Shrek 3, but they call it Shrek the Third because it's implying that Shrek is like the third, like, you know, Roman numeral 3. So it's like Shrek the Third, because in you know, when you're talking royalty, you mean like you put the third. You pronounce, you know, Roman numeral if it's like so and so the first, meaning you just have Roman numeral here, or so and so the sixth, any of those Roman numerals you have, and you just go the third, or whatever, the sixth, or the 13th, or whatever, that's the 18th. I don't know, whatever you call it, that kind of thing. And it implies that the heiring, you know, heir of the throne or whatever, because, you know, in the beginning of the movie you have Shrek and Fiona acting as king and queen, which is a bad idea. But yeah, overall I liked it. It was very funny. One thing I noticed about the movie that I thought was weird in terms of plot they had was when Merlin, he does a spell wrong, because he hasn't been practicing in years. But like, one of the things that I noticed about the movie that they did was they swapped Donkey and Puss's voices, which is bonkers to me. But they did that, and it was wild. I mean, it was hilarious in its own way, but it was also just like, you know, weird, because you have Donkey and you have Puss in Boots, but their voices are swapped. It's just so weird. But yeah, I mean, I think it was a weaker movie, but because it did feel like it was kind of you know, it kind of called back to Shrek 1 a bit because of the whole journey thing, but like it I don't know, it felt like it was more funnier. It definitely had that more comedy to it, and it just has always, you know, these references in terms of modern day culture. And honestly, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, not out of all the three, I don't know. It's definitely something I can say was an interesting plot. It was funny, and it had its moments. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did I have a favorite moment in the movie? Actually, I did. There was a moment in the movie that I found was super crazy, and that was the point in the movie where the princesses, being Aurora, I'm gonna call her Aurora because they use Sleeping Beauty as her name. Use Sleeping Beauty. They had Cinderella, and, well, not Rapunzel because she turned out to be a traitor, and also it was Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and I don't remember the other one, but there was like 3 princesses there, and they all did this weird thing where like they would get ready for combat, and Snow White would do a little, you know, singing thing, and then suddenly, like, she said it exactly like the character in the original movie, which is saying something a lot, because that movie, like, what, 70 years old or something like that. So, alright, probably 80 at this point. I don't know, quite a long time. And so it was really weird because I wasn't a big fan of that music anyway. But like when they changed it and they used if you remember the song, the very beginning of the first trailer for Thor Ragnarok, that song is like that one, if you know what I mean. That song was used in this movie, and it was just wild. I mean, the fact they have, like, you know, Snow White doing her little princess thing, and then you have like the trees who are basically one of the attacked her in the original movie, you know, they just get like swamped, you know, they just get their ass handed to them. And then I think another like funny scene that was kind of like a little weird, because in the movie, like I said before, you have, you know, Puss in Boots and Donkey with their voices, and Donkey, in Puss's mind, he tries to use his little cute thing, and of course it's Donkey, so it's his Donkey's body, but Puss's mind, and so it's like, yeah, but it's like you have like this stupid this like Donkey thing where it's like you take Puss in Boots with his cute little pose where he puts his hat down and kind of looks at the you know, looks cute, but Donkey did the same thing, but in Puss's mind, so it was just weird. Well, obviously, you know, he tries to do it again. Puss himself does try to do it again in the movie, but it's just like weird, because it's like seeing those characters like that, because the reason why they're in like the first place, because, you know, Merlin did the spell wrong. It was just weird, but like that was one thing that I just found like was just weird, you know. I didn't really like it all that much. It was just like, it was weird, because a lot of those things that happen were in movies where you have the characters swap voices or whatever. It's just bonkersly weird. But the other point of the movie that I found really bizarre was when, of course, you have Prince Charming, who wants to take over the faraway kingdom, far away land, and become the king, because even though Arthur is supposed to be the king, he wants to take over himself because he wants to get this happy ending and kind of thing. And so he puts on a play about him with his happy ending, and it's just like, I think Arthur is the one who like tells everyone, is this really what Hannah want to be? Like, is this really wanna? This is why I want to live with the rest of her life, being always bad, like, and he has to convince other people. That's why when he convinces the villains to change, he has able to do, because he knows they can change, and it's crazy, because you have a lot of fairy tale characters like the Evil Queen, who actually looks like more or less like the Evil Queen from the original Twilight movie. You have the trees, but they had a lot of other, you know, they have a lot of other modern culture references like that. Like, you know, obviously the school was one of them, but like other things, it was wild. And I think that having a play was just the weirdest thing ever. I didn't expect that at all. I just didn't really think that was gonna happen, and so I was weirded out by that. But also, that I think that Arthur, this is a younger version of Arthur, because even though Arthur's supposed to technically be a British character, wasn't he? Yeah, he's like, I didn't really think about that until now, that Arthur's actually a British character. So why cast him using just the typical, like, I don't know what that was about, but still, I enjoyed most of it. I think it was, one character I did not like, and I haven't liked so far in the entirety of the movie franchise, has been Doris, who's the ugly sister who has like this masculine voice. I don't like her at all. She's just hideous, you know. And so, you know, that's the character I really despise as Doris, even though she's like the best friend of Fiona, but like it's so weird. But another weird part about the movie, what I found like was kind of like, you know, hysterical, was when there was Fiona's, you know, baby shower, and they gave her all these presents, and then they gave her a little baby take care of guy dressed like a baby. It was just the weirdest thing. I was like, where's the baby? It's like, it's just the weirdest thing ever. But, you know, yeah, it was funny, but, yeah, honestly, I think that, like I said before, I think this is pretty much gonna be the more funny of the Shrek movies. Again, not the best out of them all, because it definitely had that, you know, that Shrek 1 vibe in terms of the journey they go on and all that stuff, but, I think one of the best voices in this movie has to be Merlin, because he's one of my, because Eric Idle, he's known for Monty Python and all that stuff, and he's a great actor. He's this British actor, and he sounds more or less like he did back in the 60s when he did the Monty Python show, which is great. But yeah, overall I like the movie itself. It was very, very interesting. It's interesting. I will say that it's kind of repetitive, because I feel like Prince Charming is like the villain for the second movie and third movie. I didn't really know why he was there. Like, it's like, oh, why it's Prince Charming again? It's like stupid, but you know, I liked it, and it was interesting, the fact that, you know, that Lillian, the queen, voiced by Julie Andrews, she was actually more a vital character in this movie. She actually did something, because like the previous movie she didn't do anything, and this movie actually she was able to do a little more than that. She actually was able to, you know, knock I think they were in prison. She was able to knock down the wall, which is crazy. That means that she's more of a character in this one. But I think that to take away from this movie, it was just a lot of it was just like weird, and I mean, I liked it, much of it. It was just like there's some points that I just didn't really appreciate all that much. And, you know, I think that the one thing I didn't really care for was, you know, Puss in Boots and Donkey's fluffy voices. That was weird. But And also, of course, the play that they had on, that was just the weird part about it. But because of course, the whole point of the movie, of the plot of the movie was that Prince Charming wanted his revenge on every wrong that has been done for him. He wants to make it right by getting his happy ending. So this is always very calculated, like, attack Farewell, and basically, obviously turns out that Rapunzel's actually working for them, and she's actually doesn't have hair. Like, that hair she's wearing is actually a wig, apparently. I don't know, it's weird, but and the other thing about this movie is there was actually a follow-up movie, or short movie, called Shrek the Halls, which is a Christmas special. It takes place right after the end of the third movie, because at the end of the third movie, you have Shrek and Fiona having baby. Like, that's their thing, because I've said before that throughout the movie, Shrek feared having becoming a father. He didn't want to become a father because of his responsibility, and then you get to the end of the movie, it's like, wow, he actually doesn't mind being a father because it's not even that bad. It's like, it's really, especially when him and Fiona are working together. That's just, it's a wild adventure, and that's why it's amazing. And then of course you have earlier, I don't think they really mentioned at all about Prince Arthur or whatever his name is, because he's already in this movie, in the movie the third, but he becomes king in that movie, and we don't really hear from him at all. So like, and then of course in this movie it takes place after that's the third movie, and we have Shrek, finding out there's actually a Christmas holiday because Donkey is there, and he's like wanting to celebrate Christmas, and Shrek's like, I don't want to do Christmas because I don't believe in Christmas, or I don't know how to Christmas works or whatever. And then he tries to do Christmas, and it goes all bonkers and everything. And you have all his friends. You have the three German little pigs. You have Gingy, the Pinocchio, which actually, speaking of Pinocchio, before I kind of continue into the kind of what I liked about Shrek the Halls, that there was a funny moment in Shrek the Third where Pinocchio, who's one of the strangest characters of the entire franchise, because he's just so weird. I mean, he's much more different than the character in, like, the original movie, which I think I'll probably do a review of that movie pretty soon. I was thinking about, like, while I was watching the movie, like, I probably should do a review of Pinocchio, because it's a great movie, very dark, but also very good. And there was a point where he's like, because he doesn't lie, he can't lie, or his nose grows, he decided to say everything in the negative. He double negatives everything. It's like, I don't know where he's not, but I don't want to direct the idea that I don't know where he is. It's just like, it's this complicated thing. He's just saying it. Everyone's confused, and of course the pigs pop up. Yeah, he's gone to search for King Arthur, the new king of Fairyland, basically. Because, like, he can't say everything. He's saying everything wrong. I think that was the favorite part about the movie was the fact that Pinocchio was saying everything in the double negative, and it was hilarious to watch. I mean, overall, it was a very funny movie. I can't remember specifics about what made me laugh the most. I think the one that was really, really funny was Shrek the Halls, and that, of course, that's the special I'm referring to, where you have Shrek do Christmas and everything, and there's a few parts. You have all the friends coming over and telling their story outside of the story. You have Gingy telling his story where his Santa and his girlfriend. You have, I think it was Puss in Boots telling a story about, the Santa Claus, Puss in Boots version of Puss in Boots, basically. But I know there was a moment in the movie where, in that short where Pinocchio had was a really funny point where the Big Bad Wolf, the very friendly Big Bad Wolf, Pinocchio's in the way. And I laughed my ass off at this one. Pinocchio's in the way, he comes to the spot, and he's like, I got here first, I specifically asked for the spot, and then he's like, just throw them out of the way. It's like, it's hilarious. But yeah, a takeaway for the movie, both the movie and the short. The short was actually a lot more fun because it dealt with, Shrek finding all his friends annoying, Fiona leaving him for a brief time because she wants to apologize to their friends because Shrek can't handle them, and it's just like, it's always crazy stuff that Shrek doesn't realize what's really happening, and so he decides to make up for, but like, he doesn't realize that those friends are actually his family, and so that was a really important part of it. But I mean, of course, they don't really get into the whole religious part of Christmas. They get to the more family-centered version of the way of Christmas is being told. And it was really weird because Shrek and all those characters don't really expect to celebrate Christmas, because he actually real videos that we don't celebrate Christmas at all, or any holiday kind of thing. And so that was really interesting. But overall, I liked the movie. I thought it was funny. It was enjoyable, and it had a lot of laughs in it. I really enjoyed it. It was the first Shrek movie where I actually laughed my ass off a lot more than I did because in the second and the first one, I didn't think it was that funny, honestly, because it was mainly doing a lot of references, and the third one, it really used more comedy, which is why I had a lot more of a laugh out of it. That's why it's a lot more funny. Although I don't remember the specific points of the funniness. I recall some of them, but not like all of them. And I know that they use a lot of modern day culture, stuff like that. It has a lot of modern day things in it, that aren't usually in, you know, the fairy tale thing. It isn't a fantasy world, but it is not meant to be like totally fantasy, because it's meant to be like the idea of the Shrek franchise as a whole is that the stories of these fairy tales have already been told, and it's mainly for Shrek. So it's like like the post-apocalyptics of these fairy tale characters, like all these events that have already happened. Like there's a scene where Hook, you know, at least a version of Hook is claiming that the boys, you know, Peter, and that this like mom is Wendy, and of course she speaks in a British accent. She's like, but he's not Peter, like that. He's like she's totally British. So it's like obviously not Wendy, but like I guess in the cast list she's name is Wendy. I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. That definitely was a lot more funny than the previous movies. It wasn't as it was serious at times, but it mainly, you know, used a lot more comedy, and I didn't really notice it. I also noticed that the YMCA song that I mentioned before, it was actually in the end credits, the very last scene of the first movie. I didn't realize that until now. I looked up, like, oh my god, I missed it. So it's actually a completely different part of that. One thing I know about the movie, that they literally just put the same you know, song in this movie was there's a scene where like, you know, the cinematic, you know, like that. I can't describe it. It'll probably be playing over this video right now as we're talking. But there's a scene right there where they have the same music they have like from the first two movies. Like, I mean, I know that a lot of franchises reuse the same music, but like, seriously, why you do that? Like, I don't understand that part. I'd say if I was to rate it the movie, I would rate it a 7 out of 10. That's all I can say about Shrek the Third. I'd recommend it, sort of, I guess. Anyway, that's for this episode I reviewed. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate the support. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this series and other series that I do, as well as other great content. And I'll be back next time with another episode. Alright? See ya.